Hi there channel, and welcome to Roma, Aerosoft's Roma, Rome, Italy, with the q400 from Joystick. If you've watched my channel at all, you know this is a plane that I love to fly. Today we're flying it over to an airport that I bought at Orbx's Christmas sale, but I never actually flown it yet, and it's Pula, LDPL Pula, in Croatia. So it's not a flight, it's not a real flight, but I just kind of wanted to check out the performance here and give you guys a sort of an update on how my system is going. I haven't really done much to it lately, but I've been tweaking some things like fan curves and cooling setup, and I got Rex the Rex 3D cloud thing, which I think is pretty damn nifty, pretty nice. Went sort of back and forth about it first couple of days that I have it, but I've kind of landed on, yeah, I like it. I think it's a good product. I think it has very nice clouds, and even though the weather engine is no good, the clouds are good, and that's pretty good. That's something. So we'll start here and we'll get some boarding going, and we'll get this thing of I have to start this. Hold on. We'll do the before start checks as well. So first you check you start the power to the APU, so you can check if automatically the valve closes. Then you go ahead and you check all the fire warnings. Turn on the recirc fan. You check the emergency lights. No, sorry, not the emergency lights, the caution lights. Yeah. And then you check the advisory panel, caution panel. Go ahead and set in the landing altitude, which is I think 100 feet something. We'll double check that before we land. Open up the engine intakes valves so that they can be checked by the co-pilot, who should be doing his walk around at this point. And that's it for the overhead panel. Check the auto feather by clicking the auto feather thing. Check the stall warning. The ADC. And it's it. We can go ahead and test that. And the auto feather test is passed. Good. Let's start programming our little baby. So we'll start with the flight plan. We're leaving Lima, India, Romeo, Foxtrot. We are departing. Our flight plan calls for runway 34 right. Let's see. 34 right and a SOSI-5X departure. SOSI-5X, which is a northern departure, and SOSIV. Yeah. From there, we're actually doing direct. There's really no good flights from here to Pula. You have to fly, no good airways. You have to fly all over the place. So we are flying direct to Gikin. Okay, Gikin. And from Gikin, we are I thought. Doesn't seem like a waypoint. Lobbin. Okay, a lobbin. And from lobbin, that's I think where the approach starts, which is so Lima Delta Papa Lima Pula, and menu arrival runway 9, and the star is the lobby 2A star, right? Yeah. And for the approach, we are gonna do the VOR-DME approach over PLA. Okay, I didn't actually know that we were doing that, but that's fun. I never really check the flight plans when I make them. I don't know how you guys do it, but I'm pretty bad at that. So, zero fuel weight today. 25128. And fuel on board is 2074. And yeah, that's all we need really. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do too. Cool. We can go into FMS2, cross-fill that with the information from FMS1. Okay. The flight level we're cruising at today is 240. Just shy of our ceiling. Yeah, we can tap, yeah, speeds, sorry. Okay, so we are actually loaded. That's nice. And let's set up the speeds. So the speeds I already calculated using RSM 129, 130, 140. Flaps 5 departure today. Yeah, 140, 151, 129, 129. Okay, cool. That was that taken off, so we can then go ahead and set the... I like to set up the IIS to my V2 speed, just so I have something to pitch for in the flight director, 151. And good, let's go ahead and start the APU. Yeah, we'll have to check for the gear pins, which I always forget. At least I sometimes forget. We go ahead and turn that on. We'll go in here. Data services. We'll cancel the GPU. Go ahead and prepare for pushback and departure, and we will go Nose right, tail left. No. So some of you have asked what this overlay is down here. It's coming from a software called CAM, which comes with my AIO liquid cooler. It sort of monitors all my system settings, but I really like the overlay, especially now that I'm tweaking temperatures and trying to figure out what overclock to run and how much cooling, how much fan speed to set up. I think it's been really, really quite nice. Set up the trim, start the radios, and yeah. And we want to go east.
Departure check completed. Line has been inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start that wheel.
So 3-4 right is all the way over here. We're way down here. She wants us to go out, take whiskey. Where's Sulu? Oh, whiskey Sulu. So she wants us to sort of taxi on the apron. And then Hotel Delta. Okay. So over here, not sort of on the... We can go ahead and start the right engine now. That our pushback is initiated.
Set parking brakes.
Turn on the window heats because I can't really see anything.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass
Start the second engine too. Or engine 1 as it is.
Left is clear. Right is clear. Clear to start engines.
Everything is looking nominal. Okay, cool. We have engine start. Go ahead and increase the RPMs. Turn on the pitos, taxi light, position lights. And let's wait for this to pick up here. Great sound pack by Immersion Audio. Go ahead and turn on the bleeds. Turn off the main bus tie. generator and power. So hydraulic pumps can come on, fuel pumps come on, auto feather select comes on, nose wheel steering comes on. Is that? Yep, that's nose wheel steering on. And yeah, these bleeds are on that now. But what we'll do is we'll set both to nav. And you can show weather and you'll show terrain. And we'll put the weather radar to on as well. And we'll start taxiing. So the traffic you're seeing is Ultimate Traffic Live, which I'm having really good experience with. Like, look at the amount of traffic I have, and I have like almost zero slowdowns. I have to say also, even before I updated the processor, I had a very good experience with it. I thought it did a really good job of compared to Ultimate Traffic 2. I think the performance is vastly improved. It kind of does exactly the same thing, and it has exactly the same planes. But for me, it really did feel like it was a huge step forward, just in terms of frame rate and performance. I have so much traffic now. But it does also feel like it's slightly less sort of active. Like you see, there's a lot of planes parked on the ground here, but I don't really find that many planes up in the air all the time. And I don't know if that's just coincidence or if it's just... But that does seem a little bit weird. Like there's oftentimes not that many planes on final. Coffee. So yeah, so we were doing Whiskey, Sierra, and then Mike, which is here. Once we get airborne, I'll show you all my settings, but they're pretty high. As you can see, I'm a little disappointed with all the shimmering that we're seeing here on this scenery. This is Aerosoft's updated, the professional version of Rome. So where I had hoped maybe it would be better. I'm also switched back to OBS, which is my recording software. I'll try and just... I don't know if this is really necessary, but... Okay. Got behind the taxi there, I'm sorry guys. We're kind of on the wrong taxiway here, even we should have been on the one ends on the inside, but I wasn't prepared. Why did I get rid from me by showing you OBS? But anyway, I hope the sound is okay. I hope we're doing okay. That does remind me though, there is one thing I need to do here.
Lima, India, Romeo, Foxtrot, airport information, Foxtrot, 1220, Zulu, weather, wind, 047, at 5, visibility, 10, sky clear, temperature, 14, dew point, 4, QNH, 1017, advise on initial contact, you have information, Foxtrot, Lima, India, Romeo, Foxtrot, airport information, Foxtrot, 1220, Zulu, weather, wind, 047, at.
So this is Romeo and Bravo. This is Romeo, this is Bravo, and we're gonna go ahead, follow hotel. We're not doing Romeo or Bravo. We're going down here and over there. I really do kind of like taxiing the q400, maybe most of all because the tiller is connected to the joystick, so you can kind of drive it with the joystick instead of the pedals. I find it a little bit easier to control. And somehow more involving, more fun. So the Rome scenery is a pretty good scenery, I think. It's performs well, has lots of, it's got like an interesting fun layout and good approaches and stuff, but it's also lacks in certain areas, I would say. So let's see here what we're doing. We're on Delta, we can pretty much follow that to the end, can't we? Yeah, see, here we come. Here's a nice landing. I think that's one thing. I don't know if you... I have a video where I tried this PSEcon, which is basically live traffic. That is the same kind you get when you watch, when you use like weather radar 20 for flight radar 24 and all that sort of things. Really, really fun and great to see because such a variety in how the planes behave. But just things like their landings and stuff were so unconvincing and fake looking with the PSE econ traffic. I honestly feel like it's only Ultimate Traffic that has sort of worked for me in that regard, that has shown me how it should be done. So we should be coming up at the airports here, or at the runways here. So we have 3-4 center to our right. We're basically going to go off that, then take off to the right. We're going to go on the runway, right? This doesn't seem like the runway though. Here we go. 3-4 right. It says 3-2 right on the signs. That's kind of a little mistake. Cool. Okay, so we got the all clear. Okay, so we have someone coming behind us. Here we go. Gust lock can come off. Chrono can start. Weather radar's on. Train radar's on. Landing lights. And taxi light come off. Exterior lights kind of strobe go to white. Min on. Yeah, we're good to go. Just gonna do rolling today. 40%. Yep. All the feather armed. And full power. 100 knots. V1, rotate. V2, positive rate, gear up. Flaps can also go up now. We're at the proper speed. I was wondering why the flight director was telling me to turn right, but it's because I didn't have it in LNAV mode. And I can also go ahead and set the IS to 185 or 195, something like that. We'll have a good climb speed out of here. And props can come to 900. Love this plane. It is pretty damn great. I didn't turn on the autopilot too. I think that should be fine. We've done a good enough departure here. So as you can see, when I put the airport in view with all the traffic and the city of Rome, all that sort of stuff, we're getting 34 frames. If I go the other way, 50, 60 frames. Inside the cockpit, 50 frames. 30 frames looking over towards the city. It's so flyable. I really do think it's much improved to what I've been using before. Is it perfect? No, I wish it was 60 frames everywhere with everything on. I am reducing some options, which I will show you in a second. Don't worry, I know you want to see my settings. I'll show you once we've gone through the SID here. So as you can see, the clouds look pretty damn good. I really do think so. The weather engine that comes with Rex is no good because it will refresh and redraw and you'll get close and they'll suddenly move, etc. But if you use the Rex clouds and Active Sky, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. It's just like, I feel like the volume is finally there. Like, you see the altitude, like how much altitude these occupy? To me it seems much more realistic. Once you go through overcast too, it takes a while. It's not just this thin sheet of overcast that you go through. I mean, I know sometimes you get really good overcast with Active Sky and ASCA, but there's more thickness to these clouds. They do consume more power though, I think. My impression so far is that it actually hurts the FPS a little bit, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So we're passing to 10,000 feet. Turn off the landing lights. And we'll go ahead and I'll turn off the engine intakes too. I've actually heard that a lot of operators run with these on almost all the time until they pass like 10,000 feet. Because in case the intake sucks up something, I'll show you what it is actually. I'll open one of them. think I opened the left one right, didn't I? So you see this little door under here. On this engine, the door is closed. And the reason for the door is that it's this intake behind the propeller sucks up some sort of debris and it comes into the turbine. It gets ejected through this little door, so it doesn't cause a fire. It also includes ice, so that's why it's kind of like you turn it on when you have de-icing. It's so that if some sort of ice particles from here comes in, it doesn't get sucked into the engine, but gets ejected. As you can see here, the door is open. So a lot of operators, I think, apparently it doesn't really hurt the engines to run with these doors open all the time at all, but I do think you get slightly better performance. But yeah, a lot of operators, they keep those doors open until they reach a decent altitude, so where they're not gonna really suck in any kind of debris. So anyways, that's what they look like, and that's why you open and close those guys. Yeah, okay, bleeds also norm, because we're just running in 900 RPM now. Yeah, so here you can really get to see how nice these clouds look. I also love how, well, whatever they do, they're monoform in the center. I feel like in ASCA and Envtex and everybody else, there's been sprites. You've seen edges of the little individual cloud sprites inside the big clouds that they're used to draw. These guys have finally cracked it. It feels like it's one cloud mass with randomly varying edges, even though it's not, you know, like this is obviously not. But you feel it, don't you? You feel like you're going between these two massive clouds. There's a little opening in front of us. I think they've honestly done a really good job with the cloud structures and sprites. You see here, here's one cloud, here's the other cloud. Pretty nicely done. Really is. And because they blend so well too, you don't get all this sort of weird rotating motion sickness thing that you sometimes get when looking at clouds and prepared. I mean, you get a little around the edges, as you can see, but it's much improved. So it actually almost feels a little daunting going through this cloud. And that's kind of a first. Ice detected. I need to fix my cameras. I have too many cams for the q400. But yeah, I honestly think the weather and the clouds are much improved. There's some sort of pancake clouds, you still get some of those, but it's improved. I think this is definitely one step closer to what we want, which is something like True Sky probably, but it looks pretty damn good. looks good, doesn't it? Man, I'm actually really happy with this product. I think it's a good mix. Sort of the sad thing is the Rex cloud engine of sorts looks really fantastic at times. If you only use that, it looks amazing, but it's unrealistic, and they redraw, so it doesn't help, doesn't matter. You see, it's pretty cool. I think what I'd want on top of this, of course, is like clouds drawing on clouds, like shadows on clouds. That would be fantastic. But and even more so, like just a persistent cloud shadow bug. That is so, it bothers me so much that if you look in one direction, you get the cloud shadows, and you look slightly in the other direction, the cloud shadow suddenly disappears. You can be in the cockpit, and it can go from dark to light in a second. I can kind of see it here on the ground. Down here, if I rotate the camera, I guess you could. Too late. We're already past it. But yeah, there you go. So you sort of change the angle of the sun, I think, and the cloud shadow will turn on and off. Man, just keep it on. There needs to be some sort of like global shadow map. That would be something. That's something we need. Okay, so we're climbing. We can go ahead and set the barrow to standard. It's kind of important, I guess. Now we should release the passengers. Should have done that a while ago. So this is Orbx OpenLC EU, which I think is pretty nice, man. It does such a good job at even Italy. It does a really good job. It's really good product. It's not quite up there with the regions, but it's so good for what it is and for how much it covers. Like, look at the cities and how realistic they look, and they gave them little historical centers with terracotta roofs and all that sort of stuff. Very, very nice. We're almost ready to cruise here, which will be nice. We can then go ahead and reduce our props even more, get a bit more quiet ride, and go ahead and turn off the ice, the de-icing. Also nice when we get to our climbing altitude, then we'll start speeding up as we're no longer pitching for speed. It's kind of cool though, like, you see how high these clouds are? We're at 24,000 feet and we're actually having clouds ahead of us on our level. I don't really remember having that very much, at least with just Aska and Active Sky. because we're gonna have to go through these clouds, and that's a little unusual in prepared, at least for me. Usually is that once you get to a certain altitude, you don't see the clouds again at all. Hear what the weather says around us.
Lima, India, Romeo, Victor, airport information, hotel 1207, Zulu, weather, wind 030 at 9, visibility 10, sky condition, few clouds at 4000, temperature 10, dew point 2, QNH 1016, advise on initial contact, you have information, hotel Lima, India, Romeo, Victor.
I didn't really say anything about tops here, but these are pretty substantial. And here again, you get to see what I'm talking about. Like the top of this overcast looks like clouds. Amazing to me. Like, yeah, like this overcast layer here looks like clouds. You see how it builds up here, and there's more clouds, and you can see shapes and definitions on the top of it at the same time as it seems, at least it sort of looks like one structure. If you really start looking for where it falls apart, you'll always find it, but it's kind of holding together to me. They've done a great job. I really do think so. There's been a lot of discussion about this product on forums and stuff, but I think it's pretty good. It's got my thumbs up. I am, if not impressed, then certainly happy. I think they shoot themselves in the foot when they advertise it as like this brand new thing that you've never seen, and sure, I think it's better than what we had. But have we never seen an image like this? Sometimes we've had. Like, it feels like sometimes the weather engines and ASCA and ActiveSky and stuff would produce something similar to this. And as such, you might feel a little cheated when you get the real product, and it doesn't sort of like quite match up with the sales pitch that you've been given. Like in this situation, I always think the clouds sort of fall apart, don't they? You can see what they've done. They're fading together at the center of the clouds. It's got some sort of alpha mask on it, and the edges are more defined. It's kind of smart. I do feel like I'm flying through some real weather here, and that's pretty cool. Okay, so maybe time to show you my settings, huh? Because you guys always ask for my settings. Don't know what's happening. Had some weird crashes lately too, which is kind of annoying, but I'll show you my settings. So my settings are no FX AA, 2 super sampling AA, and 8 times anisotropic filtering, 4K textures, unlimited frames, VSync on, triple buffering on, wide view aspect, yes, world, max, ultra, 1 meter, 7 centimeters, high resolution, extremely dense in complexity, very high autogen. I can put this up, but I've been sort of experimenting with temperatures and stuff and seeing a little bit how this affects my temperatures. So all these three don't really give me too much of a difference. Also the building density, having it 1 notch down does help in the very worst places like London, and lets me get to almost 30 instead of 25. Water detail, I have that set on high. I could probably watch it up for ultra, but Also there I'm struggling with these weird reflections, but I don't think that has anything to do with my setup. It's a known bug in prepared. Special effects I have both set on medium, mostly because they can really hit your frame rate in like a short burst if too much of it's happening. And this is my HDR. I don't have dynamic reflections, and very weird. I just turned this on. I thought I had dynamic lighting on. I can turn it on or off. It seems to be usually fine depending on the software that we're using. Lots of shadows on, high quality and high distance. So internal, external, sim objects. So this is to receive shadows. It's mostly I use this for runways. I really find it odd if I don't cast a shadow on a runway, and sometimes some airports this will enable that to happen because they use, I don't know, they use different techniques or something. Vegetation and buildings also. It's mostly for cloud shadows, which I have set on there. Weather 90 and maximum, detailed, volumetric, etc. And then for traffic, I don't have road vehicles. This is the biggest FPS killer. Ships and ferries I have for 20, and I don't have leisure boats. I don't use this because I use Ultimate Traffic Live, which you've seen. So yeah, those are my settings. In Active Sky I have 5 cloud layers set up. So as you know, when you sort of get up to cruise altitude in the q400, that's the first time that they sort of allow you to sort of start calculating your descent. So let's figure that out. Find our top of descent here. So we are doing the Labin 2A. And I think, yeah, we're basically our transition is Pula, which is the airport itself, and we're gonna fly the runway 9 VOR approach. You know what? We are flying past this. We don't have to fly over there and back. That is stupid. Okay, I am for a straight-in departure, and we will, for the Pula VOR, we will aim for 2,300. So let's first just make sure that our flight plan is correct. So yes, because here's yeah, 2.8 VOR here. Okay, so basically we want to get rid of everything between here and there. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, so we are from Labin to PLA 2300. So we are going to type in PLA 2300. I think I might even I think this is miles offset, so let's aim for doing that like 3 miles ahead of time, okay? Yeah, we'll do that. So I'll aim to get to 2,300 a little bit before, so just so we have our we have a little bit of leeway, because this is a VOR approach. We're going to be flying everything ourselves manually. Let's get our speeds here and let's get them in, and then we'll figure out. So we have 121 as our VREF. Doing a flaps 15 landing. I see we're getting quite a little bit suffering with the performance here, and that's clearly because of the GPU. To me, at least, it's not clearly. Everything's swamped here now. So this is I think one of the reasons, one of the things that I thought was a little disappointing about this Skyforce. They said they would be very light on frames. I think it's actually quite heavy on frames, but it does look amazing. So it's it does seem like they are really drawing a lot more things. Like this is also weird. I do also wish this was a little bit better, and also what is happening here with the landscape. It's like this weird sort of what is this antimatter thing that we're seeing? It's very strange because, you know, it's not there. Anyways, yeah, so 121 is the VREF, so we'll probably aim to descend at something like 130, do it in a 130 approach, 140 approach, so 750 if we do 140. Let's try and do that. 750 feet per minute at 140 knots from Pula. Okay, and here comes all the difficult part. We have to really be smart here. 111.25. That is the VOR-1. And we have two of these. ADF1 351.5. And ADF2 420. There's even a second one, which is our missed approach, which is 433, so we'll put that in the box for ADF1. Okay, so we're getting actually close to our top of descent already. I think this is gonna go a little faster than we think. So I'm gonna go to 2,300 feet. Put that in a box. Put that in a box. And we'll arm V now as soon as that come up. We'll also have to, let's put in the minimums and do all the things that we want to do. So airport elevation 169, or that's the runway elevation. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. It's just as I thought. Put in the final approaches and stuff here, but we have straight in landing, MDA 650. Go ahead and we'll try and get the weather in at our weather destination. Oh, I didn't load a flight plan. Okay.
Lima, Delta, Papa, Lima, airport information, Kilo 1230, Zulu, weather, wind 057, at 17, visibility 10, sky condition, few clouds at 3100, temperature 102.2, QNH 1019er, advise on initial contact that you have information, Kilo, Lima, Delta, Papa, Lima, airport information, Kilo 1230, Zulu, weather, wind 057, at 17, visibility 10, sky condition, few clouds at 3100, temperature 102.2, QNH 1019er, advise on initial contact that you have information, Kilo, Lima, Delta, Papa.
Okay, so that's the, I put the weather, I'd like to have the local weather in here so it's easy for me to fix when I get to it. So don't rush myself. What else do we need to set up? So we have the DME here on the left side, and then we have ADF2 on the right side. Maybe we'll put the, maybe we'll do it like this. We have ADF here and we have VOR2. No, it's a bad idea. I'll do it like this. You know what? We'll do 351 and 420 in this one, and we'll do the 433 in the other box, so that we have the approach stuff here, and we'll have the 433, the missed approach stuff here. Okay, cool. Good. Getting closer to the top of the descent. Leaving Italy now. As you can see, the weather is definitely closed up on us. This will be an interesting VR approach, I think. Just to get myself some coffee here, guys. But we'll see if we can't do this. Okay, so you see this guy's come alive. That's basically the VNav path showing us, and once we have that live, we can arm the VNav. The airplane will then follow the VNav down. The nice thing about using VNav is that it will, you know, automatically sort of compensate for any for your speed. But I think it's smart to try and maintain a rough estimation of the speed that you already have. So if we're flying here at 256 or 246 indicated, we should probably try and maintain the speed, that as our descent speed, so to not give the sort of, otherwise we might get fully off, or we might get off. If we slow down too much, then I don't know, it's just a bad idea. So basically at this speed we should be able to get down here, but we have to manage the speed manually on the descent, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And if we let it go too slow, then it will just be a really slow descent. The VNav will compensate for it, but we could get into trouble eventually anyway, because we might sort of, then we'll suddenly speed up, but then we're out of range where we'll actually able to accomplish the descent that we are looking for. That didn't make much sense, I guess, but it makes sense in my head. once I set the FMS up here, I'll go in and punch in the actual course that we want and set up the approach. Five miles. Been a little lazy with the bleeds today, haven't I? I should have engaged them a long time ago. It's moving. It's capturing, and as soon as it sort of is captured and we see the path go down, I will reduce the throttles to about 30 and we'll work out and see if that's enough. Every time you do something with the throttles, you have to check the trim, the rudder trim. Looks pretty good. Okay. Let's set in the actual. So we're looking for a course of 085. To do that, we have to long press the format key, and then we can enter the course. Long press the format key again to get out of it. We'll do the same on the other side. And long press to get out of it. Okay. $20,000 feet. We're still doing well on speed. Even though, as you can see, our torque here is going up as we're going down. I haven't touched the throttles, but you can see it's inching up. I think it has to do with our the air pressure around us. Okay, so once again, let's review. So we get to the PLA NDB. We're going to be at 2,300 feet, heading 085. Once we pass this, we'll be 7 miles away from Pula. And we should hopefully be at a speed around 140 knots and fully configured. So we'll try and do that before we get to our final waypoint. So, and by fully configured, we're talking flaps 15 and gear down here. At that point, I'll set the altitude to minimum, so it's 650, and I will engage, we'll do a VS descent at 758 knots. If I'm not able to do that, I'll do it at 160 knots. Very exciting. So exciting. See, the clouds look amazing. Like, I don't know, man. This is a pretty standard flight, but god damn it, flight sim is so fun sometimes when you're just trying out these new things and things are actually working the way they're supposed to work. It's really appreciate. This is a great hobby. I guess is what I'm saying. It's just really fun and challenging. I'm so happy to have the Majestic back in the sim. It is so great. Oh, that reminds me, this is probably Henrik Nielsen's AI ships, which I absolutely love. They're free. You have to download them. They're amazing. It's like all these ships plying the waters all over the world. I think they're absolutely amazing. That does remind me, however, I think there's a product out now that's basically all the entire US Navy. And I think I might go ahead and buy that one, because I want more ships. There's almost nothing I can think of that's more... it's so immersive. Ice detected, you guys. And yeah, airframe. I wonder what's going on here by getting left trim. That's very unusual. I don't think I've ever had left rudder trim, and almost never punched that into the sim before. That's the real sort of hallmark of a good simulation, where things happen and you're just like, what is that happening? And you can actually start looking at the instruments to figure out if something's wrong. Like, is there something different here with the two engines? Is my fuel balance upset or something? I think it's actually just the wind, but odd. Let's see if we can't get a hold of... we can't, but I know that this airport is one that actually comes with Pula, so I think we're should soon be able to get a hold of them. Usually it's also around 40 miles that you're able to sort of hail an airport in prepared. Maybe it's more like 35 or something, I don't know, but something. So here, yeah, D2719. Okay, so why don't we aim to sort of start being configured around D721 here.
Lima Delta Papa Lima airport information Mike 1330 Zulu weather wind 057 at 16 visibility 10 sky condition few clouds at 3100 temperature 102.2 QNH 1019 advise on initial contact you have information Mike Lima Delta Papa Lima airport information Mike 1330 Zulu weather wind 057 at 16 visibility 10
So 60 knots wind. So I need to slow down. Forgot that when we're past 10,000 we need to actually slow below 250 knots, otherwise we get an overspeed warning. Keep slowing down a little bit now, since we are in fact getting ready to land. Okay, 5 flaps, so we can go to 5 flaps at 200 knots. We'll start doing that once we get to the so we're gonna have a little slight left turn there at the end before engaging the go to the VOR mode. Okay, so I'm gonna try and keep it at 200 knots until we get to the T271L. So as you can also see, we were used to descend at 1.8 and now we're defending at 1.2, and that's because our speed is a lot slower than what we were flying at above 10,000 feet, where we were doing 260 knots here. So there's Pula ahead of us in there sometimes. I think that's the city that we're seeing there. Airport somewhere behind it. Maybe somewhere in here. Not quite sure. It's my first approach into here, so I might, if I mess it up, you'll have to forgive me. But, so we get one of the loading pauses. I think it's loading scenery at that point. Still get those. Trim was off again. Okay. Slowing down. It's probably the airport over here. We're slowing down. We're below 200 knots at this point. And we'll go ahead and bring out flaps 5. We'll also bring the props up to max. turn on all our pumps and the auto feather, and we'll bring the bleeds back to min. We'll send the chime back to the cabin, and we'll ask Pula now. $50 notches of flaps, so we have to increase the throttle here now. 140. That's all we talked about, right? VOR is captured. 2,300. We got it. Okay, so our minimums are 650. I'm gonna set the altitude to 650. Or 700. And PLA 650, 140, which is what we said we do. 140 is 750 knots. V speed 750 feet per minute. So put it to 800 here and follow that down to the runway. I mean, thankfully we're looking pretty good visually, like this will be fine. Slow down so we don't speed up too much above 140, which is what we said we'd do on the approach here. We're currently at 150. To me this is looking pretty good, but we're supposed to be at 910 over 28. We're a little bit high, aren't we? So I think we'll go ahead and
1,000.
decrease our rate of descent. We'll disconnect the autopilot. And try not to autocorrect too much, to correct too much here, overcorrect. I mean, it's clearly an offset, pretty offset ILS, like it takes you a lot to the right, or VOR, which makes sense. I think you could see the VOR here. So I'm going to try to just take it down slowly, not freak out about the fact that we are low. So I'm just, you can see now I'm trying to keep descending, but not as much as before. A pretty significant crosswind coming in from the left. I can start re-engaging the sink here now, so we can do around 500 feet per minute, and we'll start slowing down to our VREF. And as always with the Q400, you fly it into the ground.
50, 40,
don't flare too much. That was good. I was very happy with that. Turn off here and we're gonna do some replays because I was very happy with that, guys. That was nice. Is it right on the center line? Oh, I just remembered how bad the replay is with this, but we'll try. Because this has an external flight model. At least it used to be bad, but this is actually looking better. Wow, I think they fixed it. It's not as jerky as it used to be. Not at all. So yeah, this is Pula, you guys. Kind of a cool looking scenery. It's like less I don't know what all these artifacts are, you guys, but it might be related to the preview, replay, I mean. Yeah, good looking scenery. Like, it's not as sort of dramatic as Dubrovnik, for instance, but it's pretty cool looking. No, for me it's always the most important thing about a scenery for me is that you feel like you arrived at somewhere that belongs in the world of Prepared, but that feels different, and it does that to me. It feels like it belongs in the world, but it feels different. So here we are, crosswind, crosswind, and right on the center, kick it out. I'm super happy with that, you guys. I think that might be one of my favorite landings I've done in the q400. Felt like it was by the book. And kudos to Chaseplane for fixing replay with the q400. It feels beautiful. This couldn't have been easy. This thing is very difficult to work with, you know. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, that's obviously not right. Something happened in the replay. It put us on the side. That's odd. But whatever, we can pretend that that didn't happen. And let's get a parking space here and we'll taxi up and park. But anyway, yeah, good landing. I'm proud of that. That one, I'll keep that. I'll take that any day. Gate 7. Sure, power can come on to the APU. Let's do all these things first. These guys can come off. This can go back to red. And the pitos can come off, so we don't hurt nobody. And yeah. What else? Weather radar can come off. Terrain radar can come off too. And TCAS can come off. Yeah, if you watch this whole thing and you're still listening to me, I'm also using PTA for the coloring of the sim here, and I'm using the PTA preset, which I think is the best, most sort of comprehensive, and I just think is really nice, good looking preset. That's kind of no fuss, you know. I don't really mess with it more than that. I've installed that and I left it. It kind of does all that I want it to do. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like I'm somewhere else when I'm here, right? It feels very different than drawing. It feels like you really traveled a little bit to a place in the middle of nowhere. And didn't they say 6? I guess not. So, like as always, we're assuming nobody saw that, right? That didn't happen. That didn't happen. I'm sorry, but that did not happen. Park up here. And then we do this all around until we face the guy, roughly. And that was a shitty parking, but whatever. And we'll go ahead and turn off the fast seatbelt lights. Parked a bit too far on the skew, I know. This can go off. These pumps can go off now. Other further can go off now. Put the APU bleed on. And we'll turn the engines off. And we'll request deboarding. Yeah, so that was a pretty fun flight, I have to say. I'm kind of like a bit of a, in many ways, a non-eventful flight, but fun. I love flying the Q400. It was a really fun, interesting approach. Oh, that's so cool! Look at the GSX bus coming out of on the actual road. It's on the actual road. That's really nice. And it turns around. Oh, well done. I don't know what Orbx does to set that up, but more people should take note. A bit of a wide turn there, but whatever. Let's take a little bit of a look at Pula before we go. I keep forgetting who made this, if it's Misha or something, but it's a nice scenery, nice and detailed. I always love these sort of blast protectors or whatever they are. I think they look great always. I also love these little sort of former Yugoslavian airports, I guess. Here's another Q400. a Norwegian plane, which is true. They fly direct from Oslo to Pula for much of the year. But yeah, I like these airports. They look like they were built in the 70s and 80s, and it's a fun place to fly into. Doesn't look so high tech like some of these other airports that you see out there in the world. But yeah, anyway, a great flight. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you soon with the next one. If you like what you see, you can subscribe, you can leave a comment, you can like, you can watch some of my other videos and do the same. I'm starting to get quite a few of them up now, but anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, you guys, and bye bye.